Hey, what's up? Welcome or welcome back. If you're new, my name is Lena, aka FrumpyFit. I'm an online weight loss coach who's dedicated to calling out all the BS in the fitness industry and providing you with accurate fitness, nutrition, and weight loss information. Today, I want to talk about that clip from that new Kardashian show of the trainer and Khloe and Kim doing some interesting things. But I have a very different perspective that is not just like dogging on this trainer for either teaching or allowing Kim and Khloe to do some very questionable form on these exercises. I just think there's a lot more going on than people are talking about. But before we dive in, this video is sponsored by Built Bar, my favorite protein bar brand. They have so many different protein bars at this point, but these are my favorite, the Puffs. They are real chocolate, like 100% real chocolate on the outside and flavored marshmallow consistency on the inside, which you're like, Lena, that sounds like a candy bar. I know, but it has 17 grams of protein and only 140 calories. I'm usually absolutely not a fan of like when you have a craving for something, replacing it with like an alternative that might be better suited for your goals, because then you just still want the thing because what you actually ate wasn't close enough to the thing and then you end up eating the thing anyway. But these are as close as I've ever gotten to having like a candy chocolatey kind of craving, and this completely satisfying it. Like, I actually eat these more often because I want something sweet and like yummy versus that I'm eating it for the protein. The protein is like a secondary bonus. That's how good these are. So I highly recommend trying out their Puffs. Even if you've tried their other bars, these are just on another level. You can snag a variety pack, which will get you these 3 flavors at least, which is the coconut churro and banana cream pie. And you can get 15% off your order of these when you use the link in my description and this discount code. Thanks Built for sponsoring this video. All right, first let's watch the clip. It's very short, but it's everywhere right now. If you're on TikTok, you've probably seen it, but I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I can't figure out how to screen record this because it's like I'm watching it on Hulu. I'm just gonna hold up my computer so that we can watch this really quick.
Early sister workout. I'm a force, I do anything I want to. I'm enchanting, and you like it, don't you? I'm a lady, all about the taste. Bring in the heat, I'm captivating.
Let's go, last one. The price of the cable and the push-ups on the bench.
Push-ups.
I have a question.
Okay, so essentially what everybody is saying about this right now is like, how is this guy the Kardashians trainer? They obviously have lots of money. They can hire the best of the best. Why are they getting a trainer that's putting them through a workout that is so obviously bad? And for those of you who are wondering what is kind of a red flag about this workout is none of these movements are actually a full range of motion. Those push-ups, they seemed more to be something like explosive because Khloe was lifting her hands off the bench as she was reaching like the end of the range of motion, but there wasn't actually a full push-up there. It was kind of just like hopping off without a lot of actual movement. The biceps curls that we were seeing were not a lot of bicep action, a lot of shoulder action, because we're getting a lot of movement through this joint rather than just this joint. And they're very fast and not quite controlled. She's also not reaching the bottom of the rep either. And then as far as the clip of Kim, where she's kind of doing this kind of movement on a cable machine with an attachment, we're also not seeing full range of motion. It's kind of just like this pumping rather than lifting full up, getting extension throughout here, which is really where we get activation in the lats. And then we're also not seeing like a full, so like, you know, the rep range is like here when it really should be something like this, right? And it's happening very quickly, not a lot of control. So that's what the majority of people are seeing wrong with this workout. And I haven't seen anyone argue this, but I've seen people argue this when other videos on social media are in question based off of form and execution of an exercise. And sometimes an exercise might look very weird and unfinished and like it might not be doing much, but there are some instances where more explosive, kind of awkward movements are actually really beneficial if we're talking about performance-based training for a specific sport. But I'm 100% sure that's not what's happening here, so we're not even gonna have that on the table as an option of what's going on. The Kardashians are the definition of aesthetics, so we can very safely assume that that's their end goal, is to look a certain way. So the question remains, how did the Kardashians end up with this trainer that is putting them through a workout that I don't think anybody would agree is effective? Now, I have a small theory that this may be another instance of what everyone is speculating as controlled controversy. We're all talking about it. That's more press, more buzz about the Kardashians, but I'm also not going to talk about that. Here's my unique perspective on this, and I have to play you another clip from the Keeping Up with the Kardashians show, season 10, episode 3, 27 minutes in, that makes me believe I know what's going on here.
Do you want to die? Kanye literally went crazy on the trainer today. She was like, so what are your goals? Like, tell me everything. And I was like, I need to get down to 120. She's like, oh girl, there's no way. I can't even imagine you 15 pounds lighter. And Kanye's like, wait a minute, you are the trainer and you're telling me you can't imagine her 15 pounds lighter? We need to get another trainer then, because if I tell you that she needs to lose weight in between her toe, you better figure out a toe weight.
I don't know if you're picking up what I'm about to put down yet based on that clip, but here's what I saw. And this is something that I have personally experienced as a trainer. I used to work at a 24-hour fitness when I was right out of college after I got my degree in exercise science. A lot of times, and this is a huge issue in the industry as well, even just me being an online coach, people think they know what's best for them. And a lot of times when they hire a trainer or any kind of professional, maybe even in other industries as well, they have a certain expectation of what they're going to get for their money. And then the professional has a moment where they have to decide, are they going to go with ethics or are they just going to take the money? So here's my personal example. I worked at 24-hour fitness. I was a brand new trainer, didn't have a lot of support from my management team. Don't even get me started on how much of a hot mess situation it is to work as a trainer at a chain gym. But there were two ways that I could get clients. One, I would actually get the client myself, meaning I would pitch them, I would sell them on it, and then they were my client. Or they would get pitched and sold somehow else, like the person who is selling them their membership convinced them to get training, and now they're assigning a client to the trainer. So I got assigned a client because I would never ask for this kind of client. This is where the ethics kind of part comes in. And when we were talking about goals, right, Kim in that clip was like, the trainer was asking what her goals were. That's where you start. And this particular client, who had been assigned 5 sessions with me, said that her goal at the end of her workout was to be dripping in sweat. She's like, I want sweat to be dripping into my eyes. I want to be on the ground in a puddle of sweat at the end of this workout. And so as a trainer, my response to that is, sweat isn't a very good indicator of progress or success with a workout. Neither is soreness, neither is how tired you are. I want to know what your actual goal is ultimately to get out of this workout. Is it to burn calories? Is it to build muscle? Is it to lose weight? Is it to improve your cardiovascular fitness? Are we training for a specific goal in mind besides just being tired and sweaty? And this client, despite my attempts to educate her, was so dead set on just wanting to be exhausted and sweaty after this workout that I had to make a choice, either refuse this client who was already assigned to me or get paid and do what she asked. And I decided to get paid and do what she asked. It would not have gone over well with management if I had said, I don't want to work with this client because she's like refusing to listen to me. And I was already struggling to make money. I had to get a second job to even pay my bills because the way that 24-hour fitness pays their trainers is horrendous. But again, that's a different story. So I did my 5 sessions with her. I worked her super, super hard until she was exhausted because that's what she wanted. She was happy with that. But I didn't even try to sell her more training. And she was the easiest client that I had because all her expectations was to be sweaty and tired. And that is the absolute easiest thing that I can do as a trainer because it doesn't require any real thought or intention in the programming. I can just make up stuff that's hard and that client is going to feel like that was a fantastic workout. And so that clip that we just saw from Kim saying the trainer set a boundary of what she thought, and maybe I can't imagine you 15 pounds lighter or whatever was said. Maybe that wasn't necessarily a boundary. Maybe the trainer was just trying to make Kim feel good about herself, like you really don't need to be losing that amount of weight. But Kanye's response of you're the trainer, you have to do what I tell you to do. If she wants to lose weight in her toe, you better figure out big toe weight. That's the energy that we as professionals get back from clients sometimes. And so the trainer that Kim was working with in this other section had to decide, am I going to get Kim to the weight that she wants to get at, even if I disagree with that, even if I think that's too low of a weight for her, even if I think the path to getting there will be unsustainable and unhealthy for her, or am I going to turn down the money because I disagree with it? And for me, as a little trainer at 24 Hour Fitness, making like, I don't even know how much, not enough, obviously, because I had to get a second job, it's less of an ethical dilemma because the money isn't very much. But imagine how much the Kardashians are able to and willing to pay for a trainer that's going to be like, I can do exactly what you want. I actually have a couple of other examples of this happening to myself and other trainers. So a while back, it was like probably one of my first maybe 10 videos, I talked about The Biggest Loser. The Biggest Loser is the reason that I figured out I wanted to help people lose weight. It's a very problematic show. I hate that show now, but I do have to give it credit for inspiring me to want to help people in this way because I was totally lost. I talk about this in the video if you want to go watch it. And they did kind of like a revamp. And so in that video, I was reacting to like the new and improved version of The Biggest Loser, where now they have new trainers, a new process, things are just different. It's supposed to be healthier because they got so much criticism. And the new male trainer was Steve Cook. He has a huge fan base. A lot of people really admire him, but I was surprised to see him on the show because as a trainer, you know what's going on and you know that you're not going to have a lot of control. You're going to have to work within what the producers of this show are telling you you have to do for these people. Not to mention that your goal is as much weight loss as possible, regardless of the person's health, which is so problematic in itself. But James Smith, I'll put his picture, Instagram, I don't know, something right here. He actually shared on social media that he was approached for the male coach position on The Biggest Loser and he turned it down because he knew how horrible it would be and he would have to compromise his ethics in order to take that job. He didn't share, I don't think, how much he was offered, but we have to assume that's a very well-paying gig. And the majority of people do not have the ethics to turn down that amount of money. And now I think another piece of it, James Smith, from the content that I've seen from him, he's very true to his beliefs. And I'm sure part of that decision was also, if I do this, people are not going to take me seriously after this. So there are a lot of different factors in the decision for a trainer to either do something that they don't believe in for the money or not. And I will give you one more example of this. I was actually contacted by a producer of a show that they did not name, but they told me the production company. And they were like, we are looking for somebody to come on this show and help a particular person lose weight because they're stuck losing weight. And I was very intrigued because I was like, what show is this? Like, how big is this show? I was like researching the production company to figure out what shows they produce. And I think I found a couple options, but I never really figured it out for sure. And I kind of told people, like also coaches and content creators in the fitness and nutrition space, and they're like, you should do it. Or at least like email them back and say that you want to learn more about it. And so there was no way that I was going to do it because I knew shows like that, any kind of show on TV, their priority is ratings, usually wow or shock factor, not necessarily what is best for the people on the show, definitely not what's best for me. And I knew that the likelihood of me being in a situation where I had to change my training style to fit whatever mold they wanted me to fit into was not going to align with my values, my ethics as a coach. And so I already knew I wasn't going to do it. And so I was like, I don't really need more information. But then curiosity kind of got me and I was like, I'll play along with it. So I emailed them back and they're like, oh, we've moved on. Like I took too long, basically. The fitness industry, fitness culture, diet culture, all of these things are constantly pushing narratives and information and marketing that is designed solely for the purpose of getting views, getting sales, keeping people customers, getting as much money out of people as possible. And a lot of times that involves making you feel bad about yourself to convince you that you need the product and you need to spend money and you need to hire this person. And so often you'll find that people who are really evidence-based and really, really care about the results of their audience and the outcomes that their audiences have don't have anywhere near as many followers, nowhere near as much engagement as those who are willing to compromise their ethics or just don't know otherwise. meaning they don't have enough education to be a coach in the first place or should be sharing information about that in the first place. Like, I personally have been frustrated at how my content performs in comparison to others because I am not willing. I don't think I do clickbait in the slightest, like not even a little bit. Greg Doucette is really good at clickbait that to me still falls within like an ethical arena. So you may start seeing titles for me that have a slight air of clickbaitiness because it's hard to survive without that. But every single decision I make is going to be one of, does this feel ethically aligned for me? And if it doesn't, I'm not going to do it. But let's circle back to the original clip that this entire video is based off of. The bad form, the weird exercises that this trainer has the Kardashians doing in this clip. We don't know how the conversation went when this person was initially hired, when he talked about the Kardashians' goals, what they wanted to get out of it, what he was promising as the outcome. We just don't know. We can only speculate. It could have gone something like the conversation that Kim kind of gave us a peek into, where Kanye flipped out on the trainer and then this guy decided, you know what, I'm gonna take the money, I'm just gonna do what they're asking, I'm not gonna argue. In which case, like, I kind of understand. I don't necessarily blame the guy. I personally wouldn't do it, but like, I get it. I get how frustrating this can be. And if the money is good, like, I don't necessarily think he's causing harm. So that's as far as I'm gonna go to defend this trainer. But I don't necessarily think that is what's going on. I'm just not sure. I think nobody can be. There is totally a possibility that he went into it and he was like, this is what I can do for you. And he just right off the bat told them what they wanted to hear. Whether he believes it or not, there's a chance that he does believe that was a really solid, fantastic workout that he put them through. When it comes to like the celebrity training space, I have almost never come across a trainer that just like actually knows what they're talking about or is training somebody in a way that seems like they actually know what they're doing. Like, the celebrity training space, including like actors and actresses, is an absolute poop show. It's just bad all around. And so what I also want to talk about is I saw a TikTok of somebody, I wish I had saved it so I could give them credit, but they were saying like, listen, a lot of people are criticizing Kim for having lost X amount of weight, like a crazy amount of weight in a short period of time, to wear the Marilyn Monroe dress. But that's like her job. Again, the Kardashians' job is aesthetics. They perform. In the past, actors have been praised for gaining or losing a significant amount of weight to match a role because it's their job. No one was like, oh, I can't believe they're sharing this message that like losing weight very quickly is okay. People choose scenarios and people that they want to assign that narrative to. Kim isn't necessarily selling workout programs and saying like, if you want to lose weight in X amount of time, just like I did, do this. She's not saying that the majority, like, that's what people should be doing, essentially. So I guess I'm also defending the Kardashians just a tad. I've said this about a lot of things, and that we as consumers need to be responsible for the content that we consume and the decisions that we make based off of that content. If you don't like somebody's content, if that person's content triggers you, if it's not good for you, if it makes you feel bad about yourself, you can't put the blame on that creator. Obviously, there are some situations where it's like you're being negligent, you're being irresponsible. As a creator, I do think creators have a lot of responsibility and they need to acknowledge that. But so much of it comes down to you as the consumer being responsible for the content that you consume. So I don't think the Kardashians are blameless. But I do think that as consumers, it's irresponsible to look at Kim losing X amount of weight in a certain amount of time and say, oh, that's what I should be doing. Because it's a completely different scenario. That was a tangent that I didn't plan to go on, and I want to loop back to what I was originally trying to say about this trainer, and I think this is the last thing I have to say about it. A lot of people are also, like I said in the beginning, they're wondering, how did this guy become the Kardashians trainer if his workouts are so bad? And so, like I mentioned, maybe he came in with tons of confidence. He's like, I can get you X results. And they were like, cool, that's the result I want, like, let's do it. And maybe he has clients in the past that he uses as evidence that he's able to get that result for people. And the thing is, the more people you train, even if you're a bad trainer, there's gonna be people who got results, and then a coach will use that person as evidence of their expertise, even if there are a bunch of other clients that didn't get the results that he had promised because his workouts are actually bad. But you would think, I don't know how long this guy's been their trainer, but you would think after a while, the Kardashians would be like, wait a second, I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for. However, Kim and Khloe look like they're in incredible, like, I don't want to speculate on how they look because everybody has different goals. Everyone has different definitions of what is like good and bad and lean and fat and whatever other words you want to use to describe people's bodies. But in my opinion, they don't look far off from whatever goals they have. They could potentially be in maintenance mode, which makes this guy's job extra easy. But even if they're not, if they're trying to achieve a specific goal and they're not achieving it because this guy's workouts are bad, he can just blame their diet. And he probably is not their diet coach. They probably have somebody else. And if they ever bring a concern to him, like, hey, I'm bummed, like, I'm not getting the results I'm looking for, he'd be like, how's your diet? And just like come up with reasons why they're not getting results that aren't his fault. But knowing the fact that Khloe and Kim match a certain aesthetic that doesn't involve large or even less than large amounts of muscle, I don't think that their goal is to gain muscle. And a lot of the reason I don't talk a lot about like exercise and give tons of advice about exercise when I'm talking about weight loss, or even just like physique transformation in general, maybe you are wanting to gain a little bit of muscle. The thing is, a lot of people would get results just doing something. Even that guy's something, whatever that was. So I guess all I'm saying is there are tons of factors involved and different ways that we can speculate about what's going on here, but I just wanted to share some of that insight because I don't see people talking about any of this stuff. And as a trainer, it happens way more than you might expect. So let me know in the comments what you think about the Kardashians workout and that trainer. And if you have any experiences with any of this stuff, I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.